Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about systems of equations, and more specifically, we're going to be graphing in standard form. So when we graph in standard form, we're going to have two equations, and after we plot them, we're going to see how many times our line intersects, if any, to tell us the number of solutions that we have and where our solution is if we have one solution. So here we have x plus y is equal to 3. So the easiest way to graph in standard form is to find our x and our y-intercept. So x plus y is equal to 3. In order to find our y-intercept, we have to substitute 0 for x. So 0 plus y is equal to 3. So we end up with y is equal to 3. So our y-intercept in this case is 3. And then if we do the same thing to find our x-intercept, we'll have x plus 0 is equal to 3. So x is equal to 3. So our x-intercept is also 3. And now that we have 2 points, we could simply draw a line through these 2 points. Okay, and let's plot our next line. So for our next line, we'll do the same thing. And we have 2x minus y is equal to 3. Now to find our y-intercept, we'll have to substitute x for 0, so 2 times 0, which ends up just being 0, minus y is equal to 3. So since this is just 0, we end up with negative y is equal to 3. And so we divide both sides by negative 1 to get y by itself. So y is equal to negative 3. So the y-intercept is at negative 3. Okay? And now if we do substitute y for 0 to get our x-intercept, you'll notice that it will be a decimal. So let me just show you guys that. So 2x minus 0 is equal to 3. So we end up with 2x is equal to 3. And to solve x, we have to divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to 3 over 2, which is 1.5. Okay, and since we have our 2 points, we could already graph that. So we could see here that our lines intersect once. They intersect at 2, 1, so we have one solution at 2, 1. And that's it. So here we have another example, so we're going to do the same thing. For our first equation, we have x plus 4y is equal to 8. So let's find our x and our y-intercepts. If we want to find our y-intercept, we have to substitute x for 0. So 0 plus 4y is equal to 8. So we end up with 4y is equal to 8. So divide both sides by 4, and y is equal to 2. So our y-intercept in this case is 2. And now we have to find our x-intercept. So for our x-intercept, we have to substitute 0 for y. So x plus 4 times 0, which ends up just being 0, is equal to 8. So we end up with x is equal to 8. So our x-intercept in this case is 8. And so we have our x and our y-intercept, so we could plot this line. And so we could do the same thing for our next line. So in our next line, we have x plus y is equal to -1. So x plus y is equal to -1. So if we substitute x for 0 to get our y-intercept, so 0 plus y is equal to -1, we end up with y is equal to -1. So we plot our y-intercept at -1. And then we'll do the same thing. And we'll have x plus 0 is equal to -1. So x is equal to -1. And then we draw a line through our points. So we could see here that we have one solution because our lines meet at one point, and our one solution is -4, 3. And that's it. So let's try a few more examples. So here we have x is equal to -4. So we know that when x is equal to a number, that's simply a vertical line. So this one is easy. We could just draw our line right away. So -4 is right here. So we could simply draw our vertical line. And then we have 5x plus 4y is equal to -8. And so we're going to find our x and our y-intercept. Remember again that this time we're also going to get a fraction or decimal, so we're going to do our best to plot that. So to get our y-intercept, we're going to substitute 0 for x, so 5 times 0 plus 4y is equal to -8. So 0 plus 4y is equal to -8. Divide both sides by 4. And y is equal to -2. And now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to find our x-intercept. So 5x plus 4 times 0 is equal to -8. That ends up being 5x is equal to -8. Divide both sides by 5. And we end up with x is equal to -8/5, which is about -1 3/5. So that's slightly more than half, so somewhere over here is where our point ends up being. So let's see how accurate we could get it, our points. Okay, so we have one solution, and our solution is -4, 3. So our one solution again is -4, 3. All right, so here we have our final example. And we have x minus 4y is equal to -8. So in order to get our y-intercept, we're going to substitute x for 0. So -4y is equal to -8. So we're going to divide both sides by -4 to get y by itself. So y is equal to -8 divided by -4 is +2. So our y-intercept is +2. And now we're going to solve for our x-intercept. So this time we're going to substitute y for 0. So x minus 4 times 0 is equal to negative 8. So x is equal to negative 8. And we're just going to draw our line through those 2 points. And now we're going to graph our second equation. So x plus 2y is equal to negative 2. So we're going to find our y-intercept. So for our y-intercept, we have to substitute x for 0. So 0 plus 2y is equal to negative 2. So 2y is equal to negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to negative 1. And now we're going to find our x-intercept. So we're going to substitute y for 0. So x plus 2 times 0 is equal to negative 2. So x is equal to negative 2. And we're going to draw our line through these 2 points. And so again, we have one solution. And our one solution is negative 4, 1. Because that's where these two lines intersect. So negative 4, 1. And that's it.